Video journal entry 16 April 20th, 2005. Hello. I feel like these are becoming a lot harder to do. And I think about them more. It's crazy because I wonder to myself, is this what happens anytime I do something creatively or just engage in something? After a certain point in time, I just it stresses me out to do. And I wonder why, because it's crazy because this here, it's a thing I kind of do for myself. And it's a thing I didn't really expect, I anticipate not many people see. So it makes me wonder why do I feel that way? And I guess it makes sense too, but not make sense, but I guess it's not surprising because when it comes to creative things, there are a lot of things I do that I don't expect people to see. So why do I feel that way about it? So I'm I don't know. Maybe I feel because I feel bad coming out here and feeling bad. Since it is public in a sense, it makes me feel bad because maybe I anticipated when I did these, I will understand certain things and things will get better as I move along, and I'll be in a better space as I go. But it doesn't feel that way, and I feel bad because I want things on my platform to be more positive and more uplifting. So then when I feel, as I'm the point of this is to process things that I deal with and I go through and I'm working on. So it's I don't want to tamper with what I speak on. At the same time, it's damn, I'm for the past few weeks I haven't been coming on here in a great light, so it makes me feel bad. So I guess maybe that's partially why it's stressing me a lot. So maybe in a sense it's a type of failure, maybe, in a way. So it's when I'm working on things or creating things and I don't want to do it anymore, it's because of a sense of failure. I don't know, but I feel I should keep, like I said before, I feel I should keep trying to push through and keep doing them, regardless of what I'm working on and what I'm posting on the channel for this year, as in a way to force myself to go through with something, regardless of how I'm feeling about it. So I'll keep pushing through it. But I feel last week I asked, well, not last week, but the beginning of this week, I asked myself why do I feel so happy? Because when things are recurrent, it's an internal thing, and you need to work on that. You have to ask yourself those questions. So I feel why do I feel so unhappy? And I feel in a sense it's because I feel trapped, and then that crushes me because one of my biggest goal in life, I think, is freedom, all around freedom, mentally, financially, all of that jazz, career-wise, the things I do. My biggest goal is freedom, and I feel in a sense I still feel trapped, and that's the antithesis of freedom, It's man, because it's I think I mentioned before, but I'm moving forward, but fundamentally things aren't changing. With the house, bought a house, but still live with family, and still feel the constriction of living with family, because after I don't know, it's just hard to change how you feel about certain situations that you've been around for so long. And I feel it is your responsibility to change it, but it's a hard thing to do. And I think when it comes to familial situations, I think certain things are still the same. So I still feel certain restrictive ways from when I was a kid and from my upbringing. And I can't fully be myself in that regard. So I feel trapped in that sense. And then with financially, I think I'm in a different space financially, but fundamentally things haven't changed, right? And it's you need a freedom of the mind to get past that. You need a freedom of the mind to feel uplifted regardless of circumstances and situations. So, man. So I feel maybe that's why I feel so much unhappiness, because I feel I'm not getting closer to any type of longevity and substantial freedom. I still feel very confined in things I do and decisions that I make. I feel that's stemming a lot of unhappiness within me. And it's what to do about it when you're so tired and you don't feel doing anything. Right? You're going to keep feeling trapped. But I don't know. We've come to that point. We'll see what point we get to next. I think another thing I thought about this week is when it comes to the work I'm doing, rather than keep creating, maybe I have to put a focus on amplifying things that already exist, things I've already made. I think I've touched on this before, but like for example, of like certain things like the travel guide that I made, like pushing that more, trying to push videos that I have out more, trying to repurpose content that I've already done, and see like what that is. Maybe that's what I should be working on, in the sense of like practicing pushing the work that I do and marketing the work that I do, and like trying to put it out there and trying to be seen as much as possible. I feel like that's like that aspect of things is a struggle for me in a way too, because like I don't want to get into too much narcissistic territories. Like I'm very much be confident. I'm very much stand on 10 toes, stand your ground, and never put yourself down for others and make yourself small for others. But at the same time, it's like the constant need to be me. It's like, oh shit, you know. I think maybe that goes against part of who I am. I don't know. In a way, like you do want to be seen, you do want to be acknowledged, right? But it's like there's a balance. It's like, when it comes to like promoting the work that you do, especially when you're like smaller, you need to like be loud and be vocal and be very persistent about things. And I think maybe the type of person I am, maybe that's a harder thing for me to do, I guess. But it needs to be done. Oh, another thing, not last week, but earlier this week, I went to a conference. I think I might have mentioned that I had to go to one this week, but I went to this conference for work. And something I did was like I was paying attention a lot to speakers, because I've mentioned before, wanted to be a better speaker. I think that was one of my like main goals this year. I think I had like 3 goals. It was like financial stability, speaking, storytelling. I forgot what the third one was. I can't remember, but at last, I was like paying attention to how people speak, because in that conference there were a lot of speakers and stuff like that, and how people conveyed information. And I feel like there was a lot of things that was like going through one ear and out the other, right? But I feel like there was something that I noticed was like, with the best speakers that I saw, she wasn't really very boisterous. Like, not the typical, when you think of a good speaker, right? Confident, standing firm, and like, wow, you know, she wasn't exactly that. But I feel like her presentation stood out to me the most, because like she was like connected to the work she was doing. You could tell that she had a purpose in the work that she was doing, right? And she related the work she was doing to herself and connected it to an audience. And I thought that was like really good. And like I was able to like stick along with what she was saying, regardless of how like the fundamentals of like being that like upfront, proud, confident speaker, right? You could tell she was a little bit nervous, etc. But I think her presentation still stuck in regards to like so many of the other presentations that I saw for that day and I saw the next day. And another thing I noticed too was the second presentation I really liked was they were clear at speaking their point, and they were clear at conveying their message, and they were clear at conveying their process. Because like the second presentation, they were speaking on technical work, but they spoke on it in a way that was like understandable to all. You can tell like what the work they were doing for whatever that time period they were presenting on. And I thought that was good. I thought that was interesting. So I took notes on those 2 things. I thought about that a lot. Another thing with that conference, it made me really like stress in a couple ways. Stress in one way, and the fact that I'm like so tired of corporate in a way that's like hard for me to even find a fuel. And you know, because I feel like before, earlier on, like when I was looking into content and learning about content design and things like that, I was like, I wanted to learn more. I was wanting to watch all the videos. But it's like, now I'm at this point where it's like, maybe it's just the content, maybe it's just the information I was seeing and the type of conference it was. Maybe it didn't align with me, but like, I was taking notes, don't get me wrong. I was doing the things I need to do to learn what I need to learn, but like, it just wasn't really like enticing or fueling or make me feel any type of like, oh my gosh, I've just learned all these things. I'm feeling thrilled and like, yes, I want to learn more. I was just like, I don't know. So that made me feel like, damn, I'm like really at a point where like corporate, where it's just like hard to like, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually, 3 years ago, I made a plan to be out of corporate in like 3 years. I'm like coming to the end of my year 3 and I'm still here. So it's like, I guess I knew then that I only had so many years in me to do this, because like, damn. What else was I thinking about? Oh, another sense. I was thinking about sales, because I need to learn a bit more about sales. I need to get better at like selling things and selling myself, etc. So I asked like questions to salespeople that are around me. Funny enough, I met somebody at the conference that's essentially in sales, and I met somebody on Uber home that was in sales. And like one of the things one person told me was like building relationships, outworking the competition. I think maybe authenticity. That was one. And another person I met, they told me, talk to everybody. They told me that don't be scared of big numbers, which is actually, I'll explain that a little bit later after I get through the last one. Don't be afraid of big numbers. And I got the last one she told me. Something. Let me see the notes, man. It's here somewhere. I forgot what she told me. Have a strategy. That was the last one. And have a strategy. Something that stood out to me, though, was that don't be afraid of big numbers. Because I think that could apply to many things. So what she essentially means is, like, don't be intimidated by, like, if you're doing, like, a $5 million sale. Because essentially, it's not the same, but it's almost the same as even if you're doing, like, a $5,000 sale, right? So don't be intimidated by those big numbers, because the process, in a sense, is similar. And I think that applies to, like, a lot of things. Like, oh, shit, that was one thing I was kind of connected to. Like with jargon. So, like, if you're getting into a certain industry or something, there are certain ways people talk. And I feel like an industry jargon is, like, such an easy way to gatekeep things and people from entering things, because you hear all these big words and, like, I don't know what this means. And you feel like you don't belong there because you don't understand what these industry terms mean. Then you go around and you look up the term, and it's the most, like, simplest shit that you ever seen. Like, it only took you, like, 5 minutes to read the definition and you knew it. So I feel like that kind of concept of, like, the process is the same, right? The steps are the same, so don't be intimidated on, like, what the scale looks like. I thought that was, like, a really interesting note that she mentioned. Me and that lady, the one who told me that, was a lady, and we were talking because we were on the way back, and I was on the way back from a conference, and we were, like, chopping up. Me and that lady was locked in for a ride. That's the same to me. Well, another thing with the conference, though, they were asking these, like, questions that were, like, working group type of questions, like, questions meant to engage a group. And, like, one of the questions the lady asked was, like, what are you inspired by? And I thought to myself, and I wrote it down, because that was something I would like to think about myself, even outside the conference. And I was like, dang, I don't really feel inspired by much right now. Like rarely have I come across, I'm seeing a lot of good things. Don't get me wrong. But, like, rarely am I coming across things that make me feel, like, super fueled and, like, energized and alive. Like, I see good things, and I'm like, wow, that's a nice thing, but I don't feel inspired. Like, I don't know. Man, I guess maybe it's, like, it goes to, like, the state of mind I'm in. I don't know. But I don't really feel inspired that much. But it made me think to myself that I should, like, dig a little bit more to see, like, little things of what inspires me, what fuels me. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I guess certain things do inspire me. I think nature, etc., inspires me. Recently, I saw, like, a video of, like, a swans mating. I don't know what it was, but it was so sensual and just, I don't know. I just like that. And I guess maybe that inspired me. The trees are starting to sprout their leaves again. I love that process, and I guess maybe that inspires me in a way. I love when trees get their leaves again. It's such a sassy thing. It's such a sassy thing how some of them take their time. Some of them come quicker than others. Like, see me, while some, like, marinate, and they're like, you're gonna fucking wait for this fit. When these fucking trees, bing, bop, boom, you're gonna see that. So that inspired me in a way. But also, I think I'll be doing, I try to ask myself more of these questions. I try to give myself more prompts. I feel like I observe things as they happen and I make notes, but maybe I'll try to give myself more prompts to think more deeply about things. Like I did earlier in the week, I'll kind of ask myself, like, why do I feel this way? And, you know, like as a prompt does, it prompts you to think more. So I think I'll try to do those things. So maybe I'll have some prompts to work through during, like, this time that I, like, speak and work through it live and see how that goes. With the trees getting dressed, I saw some cherry blossoms this week and they were so pretty. That inspired me. I love cherry blossoms. And I didn't even know there were some, like, in the city. And I literally just found out about it from my manager. She was like, oh yeah, I went to go see these. And I was like, we have some here? And I went to go see it. I literally dragged myself out of bed to go see it, and I'm so happy I did because they were so pretty and the views are so nice. So I like that I did that. Ooh, I ate really badly this week. Man, I feel like when I went to the conference, I don't know what it is. Not eating in the conference in my home kind of just threw me off the shift, and I just started eating excessive sweets. Like, I have a bad problem with sweets regardless, but, like, it was, like, bad for, like, the first 2 days. I'm, like, starting to tamper off. I'm trying to get myself back in line, even though I wasn't really eating that great recently regardless. I was trying to get myself to, like, reel back in. I think that's about it. Oh, I'm wondering if I should get a dog. Yeah, I thought about it before. I'm thinking about it again. Because remember if I mentioned last time, I mentioned that I wanted to get a dog, but I was like, if the second breed doesn't work, I'm not gonna get it. Well, the lady that I was gonna get one from before, I guess she had a dog that had more puppies. I was like, dang it. It's like a dog. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I mustn't. I feel like I know I need to plan certain trips. I need to see certain things and travel for certain things, but like I'm feeling too stressed to like book those trips and like book the things I need to do. So I'm like I'm wondering like, should I get a dog and like be somewhere still for like a year? I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, my brother got to do his new job this past week, so I've gotten my days back to myself, which is nice and weird at the same time, because I had to get back into like the shift of like having all this space to myself for like a certain amount of time. But I think it's nice to have some, again, like a designated time that's just me by myself, which I haven't had for a long time. But it's weird because now I've gotten used to like my brother just like being downstairs and stuff like that. And I have conversations with my brother all the time, so I got used to that. But I guess it's still nice to like have some hours to myself again. But yeah, that's about it for my thoughts this week. Nothing more. My baseline, I think, is still maybe where it was yesterday. Maybe take some, not give or take, more so take, but we're working, we're going through it. But that's it for me this week. See me next time. Bye.